Yodel of the US Air Force is unique. He survived ejection at over the speed of sound. He lived, but only just.
People don't understand what wind does to someone at that speed. You stick your hand as you're driving down the highway, stick it out the car window, and it'll blow it back. And that's at 60 miles an hour. Imagine doing 800 miles an hour and what that will do. It starts ripping you apart.
April 18th, 1989, and Yodel and his weapons officer, Captain Dennis White, were assigned to fly their two-seat F-15 on a combat training mission. They were joined by another F-15 and took off from Seymour Johnson Air Force Base in North Carolina. They both flew out over the Atlantic Ocean and began an exercise, chasing each other around in tighter and tighter circles.
My goal was just to do a nice 360-degree around the circle turn. I get about 90 degrees through the turn, we started hearing wind rushing over the canopy. And I was like, what's going on? We were going up over 600 knots at this point, right at the verge of supersonic.
In a split second, Yodel realized he was losing control of his F-15.
I didn't know if I was upside down or right side up, and I had no way of telling where the nearest horizon was. From 17,000 feet to 10,000 feet went by in about 5 seconds. When I saw 10,000 feet go by, and we're now supersonic, coming up on 800 miles an hour, I commanded to bail out.
Yodel and his navigator pulled the handles of their ejection seats, not knowing if they'd hit the water before their chutes opened.
I got in a body position, pulled the handles, and in that length of time, another 4,000 feet went by. I left the cockpit at 3,000 feet, and I got my parachute at less than 1,000 feet. Had I waited even a half a second longer to pull the ejection handles, I would have hit the water still in my seat. It felt like somebody had just hit me with a train. When I went out into the wind stream, it ripped my helmet right off of my head, broke all the blood vessels in my head and face. My head was swollen the size of a basketball, and my lips were the size of cucumbers. My left elbow was dislocated and pointed backwards. The only thing holding my leg on was an artery, the vein, the nerve, and the skin. And my left leg snapped at the bottom half.